so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Lips as sweet as candy, its taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another cup of wine. Got a bug from you, girl, but I don't need no cure. I just stay affecting if I can for sure. All the good love when we're all alone. Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on a feeling.
Coming to you live from the Danforth University Center here at Washington University in St. Louis. This is the Getting Ready with Teddy radio program on KWR Clayton 94.3 FM and of course simulcast across the country via Woo TV for this February the 2nd, year 2015. We got a lot to do today, a lot of football, we'll get into the basketball after that.
All the good
Got a very special guest coming on as well, but training trucker Alexander Thierry will take you right up through the next 30 minutes or so. We apologize for the technical difficulties to start the program. But Terry, I don't even know what to say for an intro. After the game that we saw last night, I mean, that was just the greatest Super Bowl that I have ever seen.
Just a little better than last year.
Just a little better.
A little bit more entertaining.
And would you ever think, with the Seattle Seahawks marching down the field, with Chris Williams making catch after catch, doing the unthinkable,
Chris Matthews, yeah, it was
catch after
taking
catch,
back there, you know?
doing the unthinkable, marching all the way down the field, that the New England Patriots would be your 2015 Super Bowl champions. Good evening, Alexander. How are you today, my man?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I mean, amazing game, amazing night. I mean, I'm someone who's been losing their passion for football.
Yeah.
And definitely having my, I don't know, I've been getting annoyed with it basically. But last night, I had too much fun watching the game. It was great.
It was an
and you said it yourself on that last play. I mean, not last play, but third to last, I guess. But man, Chris Matthews, that bizarre catch, whatever that was, I don't know, it was unbelievable.
Right, it was really an unbelievable game, and we got a lot to get into, but this has got to be the worst coaching snafu in Super Bowl history from a good coach who knows what he's doing and is regarded around the league as one of the best. This was the most disgraceful, I mean, this has got to go down as
a weird play.
Right? It's got to go down as the greatest coaching lapse in Super Bowl history.
Which would, in a lot of ways, probably be one of the greatest coaching lapses in history.
Right.
Like, I mean, just the fact that the Super Bowl side, like during the Super Bowl, the fact that you can make call a play like that, it is strange.
Really
it wouldn't make sense that they wouldn't run the ball in that situation.
It makes no sense. You know, it makes absolutely no sense to me that you have the best short yardage receiver in the league on your short yardage running back, the best short yardage running back in the league on your team.
Yeah,
You're at the one. He just had a tremendous run. Give a lot of credit to Dante Hightower. You know, everyone's talking about Pete Carroll this, Pete Carroll that, Bill Belichick this, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Dante Hightower doesn't stop him on the play before at the one. We're not even talking about this today.
Which is hard enough. Anytime you make contact with Marshawn Lynch, like you expect another 3 yards.
He's a tank. I mean, these are like a 4-yard. Unbelievable during that game. 4 yards every single play he was chewing on.
He's great. It's always just after contact. He's able to get those extra yards, and that's something that's huge out of a running back.
Right, absolutely.
It was a confusing play at the very end. What a strange play call.
It wasn't just a confusing play. It made zero sense to me. How do you pass the ball in that situation? And you know what? I've heard Pete Carroll come on last night to defend his decision, and everything he was saying as well, they weren't in the correct defense for him. That the New England Patriots were lined up in a defense to stop the run, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that his whole thing was that they were going to pass the ball on second down, and it was going to be sort of a waste of a play. But you know what? Why are you wasting a play there if instead it's safer to waste it on a running play? And you know what? If you want to talk about having a chance to score a touchdown, you have a greater chance doing it running the football than you do passing, because I'm sorry, that's a mediocre passing offense.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson didn't have a completion until 2 minutes left to go in the first half. How do you justify this, Alex?
Well, I was talking to some of my contacts from around the league.
Right.
There's people who know a good deal about football, have been studying the game for quite a few years.
Right.
And the only common logic
Yes.
that came up for it, and no one here was justifying it as the correct play call there.
Right.
But what they would say is, with 30 seconds or 35 seconds on the clock,
Right.
you're Pete Carroll in this situation. Say you run the ball, you don't make it.
Right.
All right, you call timeout.
Right.
Okay, now you probably have 30 seconds.
Right.
Right, and a lot of teams are able to get that together, but to be able to run 2 more plays after that comfortably.
Right.
But it is putting you under time stress.
Right.
If you don't get it in on 3rd down, 3rd and 1, right?
Yeah.
If you run the ball again, you don't make it. Okay, now you have to hurry it up. You can't get a good enough play call. You have to try to force it through 4th down and the season on the line. So the idea is if you're able to go for this passing play on 2nd down, their mindset was worst case scenario.
But
There's just an incomplete pass that stops the clock.
How can you not prepare for that? And you know what's even worse to me is the fact that Marshawn Lynch was trotting off the field before the play. You don't think that Malcolm Butler saw that and said, "Oh, all right, we're gonna get a slant coming. I'm gonna jump the route," and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And then they look stunned. Like, how could they have ever seen that coming with the running back that we had, that it's a safe thing to go with Russell Wilson in that scenario? But when the entire freaking game, they had held you to nothing through the air, absolutely nothing, despite a few acrobatic catches by Chris Matthews, and to do that just doesn't make any sense.
It's true. It was a strange call. It was very out of character. It's something you can't even explain, and it's one of those things where you could just like harp on it all. What can we do at this point, right? Hindsight's 2020. It's one of those plays where I can't help but think to myself that like, if they did score, everyone's like, oh wow, Pete Carroll, great play. No one saw that play coming.
Right.
Everyone would have expected him to run there. Great call by Pete Carroll.
Right.
And that's the way this game works. But yeah, at a certain point, 2nd and 1. You play it safe. You got 2 more downs.
Yeah.
It's like, it was a reckless play.
Right, for sure. Well, here's Coach Pete Carroll defending this on ESPN with Ed Werder earlier today.
We're going to win it on 3rd and 4th down. The matchup that they sent in wasn't the best one to run the ball at. They don't want to waste a play right there. We could easily throw a touchdown pass and win the game against their goal line group with our 3 receivers on the field. But that didn't happen. The time, the clock, the situation, we had it all in hand. We really had it all in hand. They weren't going to have any time left unless we scored on one of the early downs, and there wasn't enough time to do anything. So we were totally in command, and we were going to win the game. And then the guy makes a play that he's not supposed to make, and makes a great play, and steals the game, steals the championship from us, and then. This isn't a question of not knowing what we were trying to do, what was going on, and that kind of stuff. We had it all mapped out, knew exactly what was happening. But I said, let's throw it against these guys, and hope we have a great matchup. We have a chance to throw an easy touchdown pass. They got goal line guys, the big guys, and we got wide receivers on the field.
All right, so there you have it. I mean, listen, to me, it was just a very wrong lapse of judgment. I don't think there's any denying that. I think that everything that you're hearing Pete Carroll say in that interview is, let's try and... Pete Carroll is not a guy that's going to back down from...
He's a confident guy.
Right.
And a lot of people deem it pompous. I often deem it pompous, but you know what? He's a good coach.
Right.
We've seen him do very well, in Super Bowl and back-to-back years. It's extremely impressive, and they're there because of his great coaching.
Right.
And, he believes that, whether or not he believes it now, he's going to tell everybody he believes it is the right coaching.
You got to give a lot of credit to Bill Belichick for not calling the timeout before that catch.
That was another one I was confused by, though. I was surprised that they would...
Because Bill Belichick is a genius. And he said to himself, you know what? let me not call this timeout and give Pete Carroll a chance to think this through. Because you know what? If he gives him a chance to think this through, to think this through, you cannot tell me that there wasn't a single coach on that coaching staff who would not have said, "Hey, Pete, don't be an idiot, okay?"
Do you think that Bill Belichick put together a coverage to make it seem like they were preparing for a run? Only to
I
see that they
wouldn't
were
be
actually
shocked.
preparing for a pass?
I wouldn't be shocked, but it's Bill Belichick. He's the best coach that we've seen in the last 15 years.
The only thing, it's Bill Belichick, so we probably have cameras on the other side of the bench listening to what Pete Carroll was calling.
Only one deflated ball this time. One. All right?
They counted?
And how about that? Putting the kibosh on this whole deflated ball fiasco. Thank God. I mean, listen, I don't know, whether you like squishy balls, hard balls.
Have they come to a conclusion on
I don't,
the
you know what? I
investigation?
think at this point, they thought they won the Super Bowl. They won it fair and square. Listen,
But they didn't get there fair and square.
They would have beaten the Indianapolis Colts if they were playing with a bowling ball. Okay? So, and that's a whole, we got into that on the last show. But I really don't think that at this point the NFL is going to do much with that regard.
Well, if they find out that there is cause, they'll suspend players for next year. Not the entirety of the season, but I'm certain that, say Tom Brady was actually directly related to this deflation of the balls, he'll get suspended for a couple games. There's no doubt. There's nothing they do now. They don't take away a Super Bowl from somebody.
It's the truth.
Right?
But if you're the Seattle Seahawks, Terry, you got to be thinking to yourself, wow, look at the New England Patriots for a second. They're now 3 Super Bowls where they have the same exact scenario drawn up, where they march down the field late, with about 2 minutes to go, if that. You got 2 minutes to go, you march down the field, you have a score, you make a score. The first 2 times at the hands of the Giants, where the Giants then come back and score even later than you, to neglect what you had just done a few minutes earlier, and the same exact scenario was set up with the Seattle Seahawks. With Pierce's catch with 1:30 left to go, see that catch, the one that was bobbling?
Yeah.
That was better than Mario Manningham, better than David Tyree. And if you're a New England Patriot fan, you got to be sitting there saying, "Oh, this is deja vu."
God wanted Seattle to win that game, but Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson didn't.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, after that play where the ball just falls into the receiver's lap, puts them on the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Right? What do you say?
Right.
You're a Patriots fan. You view that game as over. Right? Then you get a 4-yard run or 3-yard run, whatever it was from Marshawn Lynch.
Right.
You go, okay, there's nothing we can do now. This is over.
Right.
But I was watching the Pats fans. They did not.
We were all watching the Pats.
Yeah,
I was
we-
sitting next to you for a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good time. I had to leave though. I didn't enjoy your company that much.
No. How'd you like the wings, by the way? They were okay?
Yeah,
See,
they're fine. They're good. They're Buffalo Wild Wings.
Right.
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
I got a special batch. Ari Lowenstein, a very good friend of mine, he's been on the show. This is before we had the television simulcast. So our national audience might not know who I'm talking about. But Ari Lowenstein came and I co-hosted the show for a time. He got me and one other friend some kosher wings. And oh boy, were those delicious. We got the teriyaki, we got the hot sauce and the barbecue sauce. It was like the trifecta, really delicious. I got it all over my face, which when I get food all over my face, that means I'm enjoying it.
You're a messy eater, Teddy. You always have food on your face. This morning we got breakfast together, and the second we get up, peanut butter on his face.
I love that peanut butter sandwich, by the way. And you know what? The sweet ladies that work at Einstein's know my order. They say, "Good morning, Theodore," and they say, "Would you like grape or strawberry jelly today?"
Grape or strawberry jelly? And what'd you go with?
This morning I went with grape.
Yeah, so you had, okay. All right. And what kind of bagel? Was this peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
This bagel was a cinnamon raisin.
Actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah, right? Andrew, what do we think? Sounds good? Yeah.
Andrew's down.
Right. But listen, at the end of the day, if you are a Seattle Seahawks fan, this one's got to stink. And not just for the obvious reasons, but for the fact that you had the ability to bang down the New England Patriots legacy to such an extent. And I said this during the game to a few Patriots fans, and I want to get your take. But if the New England Patriots had lost that game, the media is stupid, okay? They're not intelligent.
We're
If
the
they
media
had
now,
lost
Teddy.
that, say it again?
We're the media now.
No, we're not the media.
We're your media aspect. Right?
We're
Media outlet,
separate
aren't
from
we?
the Associated press.
Okay.
You're not the media. If you are the media, okay, after that game, had the Seattle Seahawks won, there would be so many articles that would have come out about how the Patriots dynasty is a dynasty of choking, how they really can't be looked at as the same way, the same juggernaut that won the 3 straight Super Bowls coming out of the
Yeah.
gate hot like a big horse. They're no longer the fat horse. They were going to be the fat horse that's now, all right, you bumped down a notch. Because had they lost this game, that's now 3 straight Super Bowl losses. And let's assume for a second that Tom Brady never made it back to the Super Bowl. Now, he's still a Hall of Famer. Bill Belichick, still a Hall of Famer. But you got to deal with the fact that you lost 3 straight Super Bowls. And the reason why, to tie this all together, and then I'll hear your thoughts, the reason why this must sting so much for the Seattle Seahawks is because they had the ability to be the young dynasty that officially took over for the old dynasty.
And for every team that's been like flirting with championships, right? There's always tend to be those moments
Right.
where you're just like, if this went right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one I love is, my favorite is if you're a Boston Red Sox fan, like if Buckner caught that ground ball,
Right.
who knows where we're at? You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
If Steve Bartman didn't get away with
Steve
that
Bartman.
foul ball, right?
You
in the
kind of
Cubs
look
game.
like Steve Bartman right now with that
I feel like
headset
Steve
on,
Bartman.
right?
It's one of those players where they're gonna, Seattle Seahawks fans, and don't get me wrong, Seattle Seahawks fans, the ones who are reasonable, can take a step back and say, you know what, asking for 2 Super Bowls is greedy,
Right.
but they're gonna every night, during football season, they're gonna think,
Yeah, that's the truth.
wow, if that pass was 3 inches to the right,
What do you think Russell Wilson did last night?
I think he went home,
Yeah.
and that's it. I don't, look, he's a professional.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a smart guy. He's probably upset, but you know what? You saw his reaction when it was over. He basically just said, "Damn, it's over."
Right.
You know what I mean? Didn't break down on the field, didn't throw a little hissy fit,
Right.
right? Like compared to Richard Sherman's face, which was just like,
Oh my goodness.
goodness,
That was.
right? It's like
Richard Sherman looked like when that ball was picked off, when Malcolm Baldwin, when he picked off that ball, Richard Sherman's face looked like he had just taken like a tequila shot without using a lime.
ooh,
How about that?
alcohol reference. Teddy, how old are you?
I'm 19.
19. So you wouldn't know what it's like. I wouldn't either.
Of course I wouldn't know what it's like.
Yeah.
I'm insinuating that
You've seen somebody
I'm
who's
cultured
taken
enough where I know what that
a
is.
shot of tequila
Right.
without a lime.
Right. Not a
That's
lemon. You don't want to take it with a lemon. I write up my show notes before each show, and in the notes I had that he took it without a lemon, and our special guest, who I don't want to give anything away, I actually might have said his name at the show open. So Alex Squadron, who's coming on in a little bit, pointed out to me before I came on air today that I had said lemon, and that if I said that I would sound really stupid. And that's the last thing I want to say. We pride ourselves on the Getting Ready with Teddy and Altieri radio program of being knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. People aren't really tuning in.
Well, what was it? Was it 2 rounds ago in the playoffs and neither of us watched any of the football games?
And then we still came on and talked about
Great
it.
show.
The show.
Great show. No
Right?
one even knew.
Richard Altieri,
No
that was
one
his
even
favorite
knew.
one.
It was, hey, he's a big fan.
Right, he is.
Yeah.
But, it was just, we can sit here and talk all we want, and we're going to do a quick break in a second. But the bottom line to this football game is how unbelievably well both of these defenses played throughout the entire game. The New England Patriots, you got to give a lot of credit to them. They knew they weren't getting anything down the field, so they were going short, here, there, dink, dank, dunk, little passes, right? Amendola for a little bit, Edelman for a little bit, Brady, and then when the Seahawks would switch to man, bang, down the field, 20 yards to Rob Gronkowski.
But I mean, that's the way they build their offense, right? Like when you guys have guys like Edelman and Amendola, right? They like to play with these little screen passes and these short passes, these slant routes, stuff like that.
Right.
Right. To just kind of, they can get a better quick first step.
Right. That's
Than a lot of corners.
Right.
And it gives them just a few yards here and there. And then Rob Gronkowski, as we all know, can't be guarded. It's
Right.
just anything. We'll just throw it up to him and he'll just jump over everybody. He's crazy. But then that's just the way they built their team. And luckily that matched up well with the great defense in Seattle.
5'11", 190-pound Malcolm Butler. He's almost my size. He wasn't even a third-string defensive back. Comes out of nowhere, picks it off. They call him Squat Man. We got 38 minutes past the hour on KWR 89.3 FM. And a quick message from our friends at the Student Sustainability Fund. Do you care about sustainability on WashU's campus? Do you have any idea how we can lessen our environmental footprint? Well, then you're in luck. The Student Sustainability Fund, Student Union's newest executive activity, can help make your dream a reality. The SSF's mission is to help fund sustainable student initiatives at WashU, and its deadline for the grant applications are coming up. The next deadline for the application is on February the 28th. Please visit ssf.woostel.edu for more information on how to apply. That's ssf.woostel.edu. You're listening to Getting Ready with Teddy. We're back after this. All right, it is 42 minutes past the hour. We're back here on KWR 89.3 FM and simulcast across the country via the Washington University Television Network. And we are now joined by a very special guest to the program. Please welcome to the Getting Ready with Teddy show. That is the one, the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Squadron. Good evening, Alex.
It's good to see you, Ted. Thank you for having me on the show again.
It's been a while since you've been here.
It has, and now it's on TV. I actually learned that recently, and I'm a little bit nervous. So
You do
bear
seem
with
a
me.
little bit nervous.
I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah, I actually was just over there while you guys did the initial segment to the show, and I was feeling pretty confident. And now the camera is directly in my face, and I'm a little jittery. So,
Don't worry, man. You got a real face for it.
See, but this is what I don't. Hey, got him.
Oh, damn, that
This
happened.
is what I don't understand though about this. See, Squad is, and you and I can attest. You want to put your headphones on, please?
You know what?
We're doing a
You know what?
put your
The
freaking
Alexes
headphones
are
on right now.
considering not using
I don't want to hear
headphones.
from you.
What I can't-
You're the reason why we had technical difficulties to start the show because you played that stupid German song.
It's
All
a good
right?
song. It's a
About the
good song.
roller coaster.
Is that,
And those definitely did not
is that
connect.
They
racist?
absolutely connect because every single
I
time
think he's
that he's
blaming
played that song,
Germans.
Yes.
every single time
For
that
the
he's played that
technical
song, we've had technical
Technical,
difficulties.
right?
Andrew, am I right? I'm right. I'm always right.
Maybe me and Terry should do the remainder of
I
the
feel
show.
like Teddy's upset. I feel like Teddy needs a
Because
nap.
Teddy cannot.
Teddy,
is not-
did you sleep last night?
I woke up very early, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I had a quiz this
Cranky.
morning. It's tough.
Oh, I heard the quiz didn't go so hot.
Well, I didn't think
Rumor
it was
has it
as
it wasn't
tough
that good.
as most people.
What
Yeah.
class was this?
This was managerial accounting, 2620. I'm a big fan of the professor. His name's Professor Koharki. Hey, he used to be a iBanker for Morgan Stanley.
Oh, working on the connections.
You know what that means, right?
Teddy's trying to get a job. Teddy, I thought we were
If
gonna
he's
go
watching
long
the show,
haul on
you're
this
in good
radio
shape.
show.
You
What's
know,
going
he's
on,
a
man?
sports fan, so you might get the boot nowadays, or one of these days. Excuse me. I might say, you
Yeah.
know what, Alex, you've had a nice run. Teddy and Koharki show. I
Yeah,
really hope he's not
I-
listening. This would make this really awkward if he was listening to the show right now.
He definitely is. He most definitely is.
You think he is?
Why wouldn't he? Everyone's listening to the show.
Listen,
Especially
what
I'm
else
the
are you gonna do
special
on a
guest.
Monday night? So I want to get in quickly. We're gonna get into the basketball with Squad, but I have a bunch of stuff written down. I want to get it like the little intangibles for the Super Bowl. First of all, I couldn't tell if I was watching The Notebook or Super Bowl commercials. I was crying more during commercials than I think the most diehard Seattle Seahawks fan was during the end of that football game.
Teddy, when did
Ted,
you,
you've
when
seen
did
The
you write
Notebook?
that joke?
You've seen the Notebook.
Yeah,
Ted?
there's a weird reference.
You actually want to know how I came up with that?
Yeah, actually, I'd love to hear it. It seems like you just thought that one out too
I
much.
wanted to come up with
It was
that.
a decent joke, but
Well, thank you.
it's a good joke.
No, it was a good joke. That's all that matters.
Well, if it's
You want to be invited on the show again?
You're right. You're right. Altieri.
I'm shutting your mic off here, right?
take
You
this?
see, bang, your mic's off.
All right, well, that's pretty good. All right, well,
it's back
yeah,
on.
no, it was.
Let me tell you how I came up with that reference.
All right,
okay?
go for it.
What I did was last night when I was typing up the notes of the show, I thought I need to come up with a TV show right now that's very sad and a real tearjerker. So I Googled. I'm not very cultured. I don't watch a lot of TV. The only TV shows that I watch are myself. And I went when they had the Getting Ready with Teddy in 60 on late at night on Blue TV, and so what I do is I typed in top 10 saddest movies of all time, and The Notebook happened to be like number 3.
What was number
Ted.
one?
Ted, let
I
me-
forget.
Let me
Hey,
jump in
Overly
here.
Yeller.
I don't want you to.
Overly
I don't want you to cut off my mic, but if you have to do that much research for one joke, it's probably not a good joke.
It was funny.
It was.
You know,
I did
don't
chuckle.
need you
I
guys-
chuckled.
I
chuckled. I'm
We
enjoying
we
it.
have we were spending a lot of time on this one joke.
We are. You want me to move on to the next joke? Knock knock.
All right. Well, look, you were right. You were right. The commercials were out of character for the Super Bowl.
Right?
All right. It was very negative. Like Teddy, I was talking to you about this morning.
Yeah.
There was the one commercial about domestic violence. I believe it was
God.
the nomore.org.
Did you see this?
This was the woman. So a woman calls into emergency services,
Right,
calls
911.
911, and you see they're showing pictures of the house, like kind of being as if it was broken into. Everything's like kind of broken down. Like,
TV smash.
yeah, right.
Right.
And she's ordering a pizza as if she's talking to a pizza delivery man.
Right.
Well, but she actually dialed 911, so you hear the phone conversation, and then it just just kind of hits you like this woman is
She needs
so
help.
afraid she needs help, so she needs to fake it and call.
You know what I was?
And it gets
I was
real.
freaking
It
out.
gets
It was
real
like,
very
it was like
quickly.
very real.
There were a
yeah.
lot that were like that, where like initially I thought that maybe this is like gonna be one of those funny Super Bowl commercials. It's gonna have a
Yeah.
nice little twist at the
And it
end,
was.
and then it was just
No.
boom,
Absolutely cool.
hit a wall.
You know what was so weird about that? Not weird, but I was thinking in my mind. Thank God that 911 operators like that don't hang up the phone. You know, because if I was a 911,
The guy drops
Wow,
the pill and it bounces what a
Bounced
crazy
everywhere
turn of
because the
events.
pill. Yeah, right.
That
I
it
feel
ends up
worse.
landing in the Fiat.
I
and
feel
then
worse for the girl, his wife, in that situation. I mean, 'cause she was, she was ready.
Let's keep it PG, Teddy.
Yeah.
Let's
She
keep
was
it
ready.
PG.
She was ready to go.
But yeah, no, the
She
fact,
was, and then he fell asleep.
the way they went about
Genius. Who
unbelievably
would have thought
funny.
of that?
I
Right?
can't believe that was
Yeah,
just
that's
that,
very good.
that was okay for television. I was thrilled.
I also
Yeah,
did
it's
like
great.
the avocado one.
That was my
avocado
favorite. That was my favorite.
draft.
The,
That
the
was
first draft of everything was it? Something like that?
It was, and like they were picking all these animals.
Yeah, yeah.
and
Australia
They were discussing the
with
picks.
the first pick,
Yeah.
and you pick Australia picks
That was
like the
funny.
kangaroo.
Yeah, and then
And then the
Mexico
the
got
polar
polar
bear
bear's
wanted
like,
the
oh,
Mexico.
big deal.
No, we want avocado.
Yeah.
That's very funny. Yeah, listen, there were some really tremendous ones. What about Invisible Mindy? Did you catch that one?
I did.
What was this on?
I
just-
love that one.
It was funny. I'm not a fan of that.
Mindy Kaling?
Mindy.
Yeah.
They
She
could've-
annoyed me in the office. That's what it was. And
Is
so
that
now
what
when
it
I
is?
You
see her,
associate her character
Andrew,
now
did you
with.
catch
she
that
just
one?
constantly.
The Mindy one? Alright, so the premise is that this girl, she thinks she's like invisible, and so she starts doing all these things that are very,
She ate lunch in the park naked.
Went through a car wash.
went through a car wash, and then she
Crazy.
goes and
Who
leans
does
in and
that?
tries to kiss Matt Damon at this lunch thing. And he realizes that she's there. What would be your reaction if a girl came up and did that?
It happens often, and I normally
Steph
just
Curry 4-3.
Ayo.
okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
pretend
a-
that I don't know what
yeah,
where the
yeah,
connection
yeah, yeah.
between those two things, but I normally just have the same reaction as Matt Damon because you gotta.
Happens to Matt Damon all the
Yeah,
time too.
you gotta
He's just kind of laid
you
back
gotta
about
just
it.
say, you know what, like I appreciate it, and I understand where you're coming from. It must be difficult to look at me from across the room and not do this. And I just would say,
Right,
you know what, it's just as
right.
Matt Damon said. I'm sorry, I just.
You guys
I
are
don't
you
really
guys
wanna do
are
this.
really-
Yeah, I'm just not into it.
You guys have nothing good to say about this commercial, so alright, we'll move on to the real stuff, okay? Will that make you guys happy?
I was
Katy Perry?
Yeah, Katy. No, I'm gonna skip the Katy Perry. So it's just fine. This is just
All
fine.
right,
There's
well, then
nothing
we-
else I want to say.
Fine.
about it.
Fine. Can we talk about the Sharks at least?
I thought Katy Perry
They're like-
was incredible.
You thought she was incredible?
I'm a huge Katy Perry fan.
These productions now are crazy though for the Super Bowl halftime show.
I love the weirdness of her
What-
concerts.
What was she?
I haven't
what did
been to
she,
any
what
of
did
her
she
concerts
ride in
before.
on? I'm sorry. What did she ride in on?
That was cool. It almost looked fake. Like I didn't really know what
it was
it
like
was.
a puppet. There were like people like walking it from underneath.
Yeah.
And then
There's like a giant tiger, right?
I for the life of me,
It was a tiger.
I could not get over the sharks. Those two sharks that were dancing,
They were
and
really
had
not that
the lips
impressive.
moving.
What?
What?
They're
We
sharks.
watching the same
People
we watching
dressed
the
as
same
big
shark
sharks
show?
not on
I
the
was
same
Mario
page.
for Halloween. Were people making a big deal about that on social media? I did get a profile
Were
picture
you
out of
there?
it that got 90 likes. That was a
90?
big one. 90.
It's a lot of likes.
That's
92
a lot.
And
actually.
here's my question: Were you dancing with Katy Perry as Mario? Because
I was dancing with better looking women than Katy Perry. Moving on to the basketball squad ups take on the Super Bowl, we got that. And then we're looking at Squad's new blog, squadup.com. It's got a little bit of a new look to it. You want to walk us through what that's going on right now?
I want to apologize to all the Squad Up fans out there right now because the site is on a little temporary hiatus. We had a pretty stressful week. All three of us.
Yeah.
Emery couldn't do it. He's not pledging anymore.
Emery quit.
You
That's
gotta
true.
crack the whip.
I need to-
That's what I do with Altieri. If he screws up, if he doesn't prepare, he's really unprepared today. And it's very obvious. So we're gonna have a production meeting after the show.
I have
It
no
is-
idea.
it's
I
pretty
don't
obvious.
know
It
what
is
I
pretty
did
obvious.
besides play that
Andrew,
German
we might need to
song.
find me a new co-host.
Andrew could do it, and we get Terry to do the
Yeah,
camera.
you know what? Remember how many views we were getting when it was just you on the show? Remember that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, shots fired. Shots
don't wanna
fired.
be here
Where does the
anymore.
excitement come from? Yeah, there's a lot of hostility tonight. You know?
There is.
Teddy's
I feel like I'm kind of stirring
So
the
go
pot
on.
over
I'm
here.
sorry. Go on. By the way, how are your hives doing?
I appreciate you
Bringing that up.
bringing that up
yeah.
now. Funny,
I
funny
was
story
sitting-
actually. Now that you do that, I have a funny story to tell.
Yeah. You gonna take your shirt? You want to show the camera?
No.
No,
no.
not really.
Okay.
They're kind of gross. But I just have like a little rash on my chest. I'm not sure where it came from. It's not bad. Teddy's bringing it up just purely to embarrass me. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Let me justify. Let me just jump in for a quick hot sec.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing this up is because last night I was sitting next to Squad during the Super Bowl, and he mentions I always got this little rash going, and it's the hives. And I start to get I'm fully clothed.
It's not hives. I don't know that it's hives. So it's
No,
Okay.
it's definitely
Well,
some
I
sort
didn't
of-
look.
some
So what
sort
I'm
of
doing now
rash.
is I got my cell phone in my hand, and I'm like cradling it into my stomach, trying to Google if hives are contagious. Because the last thing I need is hives right now.
It is not as bad as everyone who's listening to this is picturing right now. And I'm not going to show the camera also, but it's really not that bad.
Right.
But funny that you should bring that up. This is a sort of funny story.
Right.
Kind of embarrassing. My mom, if she's watching, which she probably isn't because she doesn't know that I'm doing this right now. She would be weird if she just tuned in to watch me just.
That's right. Well,
But
okay.
she is, I would say, a very mediocre texter. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I feel like that's the thing for all moms. She just
My
doesn't.
mom's been getting a lot better at texting.
I think that
Really
often,
a lot stronger.
often she's confused about whether she's texting in a group message or like to one person. Because if the last message you sent was to the group, you type in the name at the top, and
Right.
you press the first thing, it's the group.
Oh, it's the group, yeah.
So she's meaning to text my dad because I actually am going to go to the doctor tomorrow to get this checked out. And I had a new insurance card.
Okay.
She wanted to get the information for it. And so she means to text my dad. I'm going to find this text message because it is funny and embarrassing. She means to text my dad this, but she says, "Nice. This is to my entire family,
Right.
all my brothers. I have 2 brothers.
Right.
Nice. Do you have your new insurance cards that you can send to Alex? He has a new rash that might need to get checked."
New rash like a new car.
And I-
Hey, you got a new one. Good for you, man. Congrats.
And I was just so mad at that moment because now this is a thing that my brothers are naturally going to use against me.
Right.
And she made it sound like I'm a rashy person, which I am by no means.
He's got all.
I have never had
Alex,
a
he's
rash
got
like
another
this.
Do you not get many rashes?
No, never. A beautiful skin.
Yeah, you do.
Beautiful Matt Damon
You're
skin.
a beautiful guy. All right. Let's get into a little bit of the NBA. What's going on with my New York Knicks? Big win last night against the Lakers. How about that?
Yeah, it was actually a day game. But
I
It was-
studied so hard for this basketball segment.
You're doing all right,
I'm disappointed, Ted, because when I want my Knicks to win, they lose, and when I want them to lose, they win.
Hell yeah!
They just
Put your
they
headphones on. I just got the. Everyone, put your headphones on. Please. Put your headphones on. Thank you. Continue.
Either way.
Continue about the New York Knicks.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm a Knicks fan, man. I mean, it's hard to see a situation right now where they can aim for anything besides a good draft pick. Like I know that they're
and your mother ugly
still
and
not
your sister
technically
ugly.
out
You
of
just
it.
plain old ugly.
right, but they need to lose games if they want a better draft pick.
Right.
Well, it's funny because I was actually looking at the standings. I do this frequently, obviously, just to stay up to date. And the Knicks are only 10.5 games out of the playoffs, which obviously realistically they have no chance. But it's crazy to think that the A seed in the playoffs is 20 and 27
Yeah.
in the East.
Right.
So like, from a standpoint of the organization, like, oh yeah, we're tanking. but like mathematically they haven't been eliminated.
It's because the East is terrible, though,
It's
right?
horrible. No, it's horrible,
dominating the West.
and it's a joke.
Right.
And the Knicks are a laughing stock. Also, I'm just saying that
Right.
it's weird to think that this team that I want to lose so badly so we can get the first pick is
Never
like
win.
kind of like
Well,
10.5 games out of
then
the playoffs,
what,
where the
they've-
Thunder are like 4.5 games.
They've won, say, what, 4 of the past 5?
They won, they're 5-5 in their last 10.
Right.
They've
Yeah.
won, I think they have won 4 in their last 5.
Right, so what's changed? Like, why is it, they couldn't have beaten the Lakers 3 weeks ago?
Melo came back.
Yeah.
And that's the major difference. I don't know. I mean, this is a horrible thing to say because I do love the Knicks, but teams just must struggle to get up against the Knicks.
Yeah.
Like, I would just imagine that, a team like the Lakers that they have more talent than the Knicks, even
Coming
without
from
Kobe.
you, that's saying a lot.
It is.
Well, I mean,
I've come to the point, and Altieri actually lives in the same suite as me, so he can attest to this. I didn't miss a game for the first 25 games of the season.
Yeah,
It was,
it's kind of depressing to watch.
it was depressing, and I've come to the point where I'm okay with missing games.
Right.
And I'm starting to think that when I miss games, they win, which is bad
You're
for
a
me
little bit of
because
a
I'm
bad luck charm.
I'm
you
very
start watching again,
superstitious.
start
I'm very
watching again.
superstitious. So if they keep winning when I'm not watching, I have to start not watching,
Right.
which is like a horrible thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's the truth.
All right, then what? Now, let's say they can get reasonably. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a top 3 pick. Okay.
Still
Now, where do you
realistic.
see that they go with those?
So if they get the
This
first pick,
offseason, what do you see the Knicks trying to do?
Well, realistically, we're gonna go after the big names. I just think that with the big guys, there's no chance they're leaving. Guys like Marc Gasol, I see him resigning. Obviously, LeBron's a free agent, Kevin Love's a free agent. Those guys are going back. So is Kawhi Leonard. A realistic chance, maybe a Goran Dragic. He's said that he's sort of interested in playing in New York, although can't really, take anything that they say now seriously.
Yeah.
But I mean, landing a Goran Dragic would be huge, and then a top 5 pick, and still have Melo. That's a decent team. That's a playoff team in the East.
Right.
So I mean, I guess that's a realistic offseason that
Yeah.
would be good for the Knicks. But
All right, the Atlanta Hawks, they've won 20 in a row. Why are they playing so well? Let's go. Atlanta should be.
yeah, I'm shocked at this, and I have to give a shout out to Emery, who we have bashed both times I've been on the show. We've been kind of
bashed
mean to
Emery's
Emery.
gotten the
Not
short
that
end of
Emery's
the stick
watching.
here.
He has, yes.
Right.
But Emery did say to me at the beginning of the season that the Atlanta Hawks are going to be one of the best teams in the East, and
Really?
I laughed at him, which was wrong.
That's why you got to give him a little bit more material to do and squat up.
Oh, it is. He has all the freedom he has to give out any material
Okay.
that he pleases to.
All right. So anyway, so Hawks.
Hawks. He predicted they'd be good, and what's working is just, for one, they have a bunch of just overlooked talent. I mean,
Right.
for people at the beginning of the season not to foresee this is kind of shocking because they've got now 3 All-Stars. Korver very well could have been an All-Star as well with those numbers. That would give them 4 All-Stars, which is absurd.
Right.
And then good bench players as well. This is a talented team, and I think that is something that was just not predicted or not seen at the beginning of the season. But also, they have the 3rd best defense in the NBA. I mean, they're a good defensive team. They have a good bench.
Right.
I mean, they just have everything. They have shooters. They got an inside presence. They have a great point guard. I don't know. This is a dangerous team. I could see this team winning the East for sure. I mean, this isn't a fluke at
so
all.
if this team were to win the East, right? Like, do you see them competing against the top group in the West, though? Right, and that's the problem with the NBA right now. And you could look at the past couple of years, and when LeBron was on Miami, you could at least say, you know what? Yeah, the West is better than the East,
Right.
but Miami can win a championship.
Right.
Can Atlanta win a championship? Can Chicago win a championship? Can Cleveland win a championship?
Well, they've been competing against the West recently, so I think there's no evidence to say that they can't. They've won, 19 in a row or something like that.
Yeah.
And they've got a bunch of good Western Conference teams. So, I don't know. It's difficult to say, just because I think that teams from regular season to the playoffs change drastically, and we've seen that a bunch.
Right.
Teams like San Antonio and things like that. I don't know. I think yes. If I were to say now, I think this team can compete with teams in the West. They do have the best record in the NBA, so that's what I'm going by.
And you brought them up as a team that could win the East, and I think, although the competition may not be as much there, I'm curious to see. Cleveland's been doing a little better lately. I'm wondering where you see them competing in the East now, and I guess just give us an update on where they stand
Right.
and where do you think they'll be.
Well, I think right now Cleveland's at the 5. I think that's correct. They're at the 5, and they're like maybe not, 9 games. They've won 10 in a row, so like 9 games or so over 500 maybe. I think that by the end of the season, I think there's no way they catch the Hawks, but I think the 2 seed is very realistic. And if the Cavs can lock up the 2 seed, they're in very good shape. I mean, they're going to play the bottom 2 teams in the East right now. I think like Charlotte and maybe Milwaukee. So they're walking to the second round, and then realistically, this is a team. If you have LeBron James, and LeBron right now is playing at an extremely high level,
Right.
this team is realistically going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And have we seen better play from other players? In the
Oh
team,
yeah,
like Kyrie,
I mean
for
they're
example.
meshing.
How would you say? Let me just rephrase that second a little bit here. How would you say that it's not like? I look at a team like this, and you got Kyrie, you got Love, you got LeBron. Would you say that their meshing has been accelerated versus a team like the New York Knicks a few years ago when they had Amari and Carmelo, or back on the Heat when LeBron had the other 2 guys?
Well, I hate to say this, but like you gotta LeBron. This guy's a basketball genius. So
Right.
if anyone can help a team mesh, it's LeBron.
Right.
Carmelo, I mean, of course, he plays at a very high level and is a superstar every way you look at it, but he's just not the same, basketball mastermind that LeBron is.
Right.
So I don't want to attribute it all to LeBron. Of course, Coach David Blatt is also responsible, but
Right.
LeBron is the one who's accelerating this, who's really driving it home. He's the one motivating them to play better. And it's no coincidence that LeBron comes back. He plays at a high level, even in a game where they're playing against Portland. LeBron has come back. He's played well. He's motivated them. They don't have him this game. LeBron's out with a sore wrist or whatever. And Kyrie scores 55 points and goes crazy.
Right. Speaking of Portland, give a quick rundown on them. They've been through a lot of injuries. Walton's out, Bowie's out, Odin's out, Roy's out. But yet guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, they're powering through. How about that team?
Right, Ted, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
These guys that you're saying that are injured.
Are they not injured? Maybe I misread that article this morning.
No, but you didn't misread. All right, here's what I'm saying. What you were trying to
2009,
highlight in your
it's a
notes here,
great
what you were trying to highlight in your notes here,
Yes.
was that these are guys who have fallen through as Portland Trailblazers potential superstars. So Sam Bowie was the guy drafted before Michael Jordan.
I'm embarrassed right now.
Greg Oden, obviously everyone knows.
Just to clear it, I don't know a thing about basketball. If you're a follower of this program, you know that. I just have never watched a basketball game in its entirety in my life.
I'm gonna make you do that.
I
with
apologize
me.
for that. I read an article wrong. I sound really stupid now as a host of a sports talk radio program.
No, you don't. Don't sell yourself short.
The Trailblazers
It was a little.
had bad luck over the past few years
Yes,
as a franchise.
that's a better transition.
And they're right now, they had a great team last year, and they're doing really well this year.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's weird to just jump side to side here, but they're a team we haven't talked about on the show at all. I'd love to just hear your input on where they stand.
Mitch would kill me for saying Mitch. One of my friends.
I ended last show with the Portland Trailblazers are not the best team in the NBA.
Mitch
Good.
is a very loyal listener, by the way.
Yeah,
Which
maybe
is
that-
great
yeah.
for us.
Okay, well then maybe I shouldn't say this.
Just say it. Go
Say it.
for it.
I don't think the Blazers are like a realistic championship contending team.
Why do you say that?
I say it because the main reason is because they have a weak bench. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you look at teams that have won championships, a good bench is kind of essential. I mean, their bench is averaging 25.7 points a game.
Right.
Compared to a team like San Antonio right now, who's averaging 40.5, or Golden State that's averaging 35 off the bench. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I was thinking about. I like to think of it this way. If you're a team that can lose your third best player, this is really random, but I was thinking this. If you're a team that can lose your third best player and that would completely kill your franchise or kill your hopes of winning a championship, then you're not a real contending team, if that makes sense.
That's a good point.
So, let's say the Thunder lost Ibaka. I could still see that team being a really good force in the West, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's say that Golden State loses, let's see, Steph Curry, they lose Draymond Green. I mean, they lost David Lee at the beginning of the year. That was probably their third best player. And then Draymond comes in, fills in. If this team loses, Wesley Matthews or Nick Batum, they're nowhere. They're gone. And Mitch, if you want to have that argument with me, I'm very happy to do that, because you know that it's not the same if Wesley Matthews comes out and Will Barton comes in. That team is not the same, and I don't see them contending. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's about
I love you,
3
Mitch.
in
I really
Maastricht,
miss
so
you,
I'm
Mitch.
not sure if Mitch is going to be listening right now.
I really miss him, though. I do miss
watched
him.
the,
I'm
online
sad that
video
this is the
this.
first conversation I'm having with Mitch since he
I
went
hate
abroad.
I hate to interrupt.
So is not going to win the championship. Hi, Mitch. And that's my take on the Blazers.
Is that your take? All right, good stuff. Hey, listen, another tremendous program in the books. We apologize for the technical difficulties in the beginning. I feel like that's just like the way that we end the show each time now. Andrew Ellison behind the controls did an unbelievable job. Squad, thank you for coming on. Kerry, you did a great
time.
All right,
I love these guys. These guys
we'll
are great.
See you guys next week. Adios.
Bye, everyone.